Hello, hello. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here at Findem Live. If you don't know who Findem is a talent data platform that automates and consolidates top of the funnel activities across your entire talent ecosystem. We bring together sourcing, CRM, and analytics all in one place and powered by our unique 3D data and AI. Sounds good? Well, let's get started. My name is Frances Way. I'm your host, head of product marketing here at Findem. And today we're going to talk about the future of exec recruiting with an incredible speaker and an action-packed demo. I'm so excited. But first, love to introduce my colleague. Please welcome Mark Jacobson, General Manager of the Exec Search business here at Findem. Mark, would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Mark Jacobson. I've been in the exec search industry for more than 20 years at this point. Started my career at one of the Shrek firms, spent some time working in boutiques, and before founding my own company. That was an early entrant to introducing data-driven concepts into human capital. Spun out a venture capital firm, which I was really proud to be a part of. And that led me on the path to be an early employee at True Search back when it was about 20 people. And a very small but high growth organization, really kind of an impactful part of my career, and ultimately led me here today to Findem.
Incredible. We're so excited to get into it. Thank you so much, Mark. Before we get started, I just wanted to cover a few quick housekeeping items. So this is meant to be a lively conversation. Please give me your comments, emoji reactions, even the rude ones, all good. Questions go in the Q&A box, and we'll try to hit those towards the end. We are recording today, so in case you missed any of today's session or have to leave early, don't worry, we'll send you the link to rewatch it later. And you can catch any of our Findem lives at findem.ai. With that, I want to hear from you guys. So let's run a quick poll. And Austin, if you could pull up those poll questions, please. I'm just trying to figure out, what's your current approach to adopting AI? Are y'all waiting to see what sticks, exploring a few options? Maybe you're using a few point solutions like note takers or schedulers or all the like. Or maybe you are fully committed and pursuing a transformation. I want to hear where on the bell curve you guys are in terms of your AI appetite. I'll give you guys a minute to fill that out. Don't think too hard. Ooh, what do we got in terms of our poll here? Okay, looks like a lot of folks are just exploring options right now in the majority. And then it looks like split between kind of trying out a few things and then, some of you fully committed and pursuing a transformation. So it looks like we're really, not too many folks are kind of apprehensive, but just kind of spread out across the board. So Mark, would love to hear what your take is on this, on our crowd here.
We're definitely in the fully committed and pursuing transformation bucket. I think that Gen AI is the most significant technological disruption for our industry since the internet. And I think we're going to undergo massive transformation. Phase one was really kind of digitization. So we moved off of the desktop computer and the Rolodex, and we got the web, we got email, we got apps, we even got LinkedIn. Phase two was really kind of digital transformation. So we took a lot of these kind of cloud-enabled apps. We did some technology consolidation. We did some workflow consolidation. But phase three kind of smacked us in the face about 2 years ago with the introduction of OpenAI and ChatGPT. And that really ushered in the age of AI transformation, where this is really about consolidating data and workflows, and it's creating autonomous applications. And I think there's really no going back at this point.
Totally agree. And smack in the face, I think, is a really great way to put it. So maybe tell us a little bit about what's holding people back from making that big shift.
Yeah, I think as an industry, we've developed an addiction to habit, and that habit is LinkedIn. We experience the same problems today, by and large, that we've experienced in the industry for the last 30 years. That is slow and inefficient search execution speed, it's siloed and incomplete data, it's limited market mapping and insights. And I think the world has changed, right? We have gone through a tough market for the last 2 years. Searches are harder, client expectations have grown. And so, as an industry, to solve these problems, we're being asked to do more with less. And therefore, we're looking for tech solutions that drive scale. And you can't do that just through headcount, and you can't do that with disconnected workflows and siloed data. So I think those are the things that are impeding progress most today.
Yeah, I can agree more. But it sounds like we kind of need this like AI powered super consultant. It sounds like it's funny. We were talking ahead of this about how all AI marketing right now kind of sounds like that Daft Punk song, like harder, faster, better, stronger. This leads me to this next question. But if you could tell me how you could build this super consultant, what would their traits be like?
Yeah, I like that song, by the way. Our work is never done, right? I think that's like the motto for search. But yeah, look, if I had to create a search superhero, I think their like enhanced skills would be like enhanced efficiency and speed, data-driven insights. They would be scalable. They would be super consultative. They'd probably be able to get home and like take a cooking class at the end of the day, go home and coach Little League, maybe binge watch some Netflix TV. What they wouldn't do is be stuck at home doing internet research at 11 p.m. at
Yeah, no one wants that, right?
night. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to get to know the demo and see a little bit more. And I'm sure the crowd here is also can't wait. So to get us started, I want to jump into a little fun scenario. So let's say that here at Findem, we've been growing a ton, and the CEO here at Findem has asked me to help him hire a new CFO. We're going to go out there and try and maybe raise some money. Who knows? MJ, I would love for you to kick us off the demo and maybe show us how we could get started with this search for a CFO using the new executive search solution.
Let's do it. Can you see my screen okay?
Yeah.
Great. So here is our homepage. We call this our front door. And I think this is really important because it encapsulates the way that we're thinking about innovation for Findem and the search industry. And that is not as a kind of single point solution technology. We're thinking of this as truly digitally enabling a workflow. And that's going to be done through a variety of apps that mirror kind of the workflow that exec search goes through. So when you land to create our search, and we'll jump into that in just a moment, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to add the apps that you want to access and use. So here we've got kind of projects which are used for active search engagements, company research. You'll be able to access insights. This is where it's kind of like our sandbox where we create different market maps and we do different kinds of research. And then the CRM, which is something that we'll jump into, but certainly where kind of contacts are stored, where we're able to kind of enrich and rediscover talent that's already in our own systems. So let's jump in. As we dive into our projects, you're going to see here that we've got a series of searches teed up. You can see days to open, you can see client name, the role, the pipeline, and you'll see that data is connected to your CRM system. We'll denote the difference between an active search and a search and business development phase. So if you want to go out and kind of use Findem's technology and prep for a big pitch, and you want to arm yourself with market insights and kind of mock candidates, that will be enabled here as well. But yeah, let's go find a CFO for Findem, right? We're a high growth company and we're scaling, so we want to get IPO ready. What we'll do is we'll start by creating our project. We'll link our job spec, and we'll fill out some basic information. Who the company is, what our website is, what the role is. This is going to report to our CEO and founder, Hari. They're stuck with me leading the search, so bear with me, but hopefully this goes all right. So we'll start our project, and now we're kind of into the main project screen. So what we will do is begin to create suggested actions for our users. The first step is going to be when you open the project, let's start candidate mapping. Some of the feedback that we get from our customers and prospects is this request to kind of begin the search from a best practice perspective and they want to do company mappings first before they just jump in and do people search. There are definitely some that are like, hey, I've got a profile, I got a job spec, I want to kind of get right into it. And that's okay too. We enable project creation to kind of mirror your workflow. But for today, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of dive in, and we're going to start with market mapping. I will call your attention to, we note what the project is. Very clearly, you can see who it reports to, who the recruiters are, where the job description is. And in the search world, oftentimes we're working on a number of different customers at once. So we kind of want to have quick and easy referenceable information on the company when we can see a lot of different data about it. So if we want to know what Findem is, here's who we are, right? We're a Series B company. This is about right, we've got close to 170 people. These are some of our competitors. And you can see this really nice growth curve. We've definitely been growing and scaling over time. And you can also see our funding status. So these are easily referenceable components to the platform for everyone to refer to. We also enable org charting. So you can see here who's on our team, which functions, and who they manage. This is kind of a CEO and 2 levels below capability that's baked into the product. There's also a section here where you can store your assets. And so that might be sales collateral, that might be other marketing materials that are being sent and distributed to candidates, things that you want to have at your fingertips. There's a very easy to access area here where you can store all of that. So as we go in, we're going to do a mapping. We're going to build a company map. And what I want to do here is I want to target HR tech CFOs. That's our space. I want to find people that understand our business model, that know kind of a little bit about us and the challenges that we face as an industry. I want them to be current sitting CFOs. And I've handpicked a couple companies here that I think are representative of the types of talent that we might want to recruit. I will say that we do a couple things in this module that I'm pretty excited about. One, we enable you to kind of put in companies one at a time. So if you already know the companies that you want to identify, Rippling, Gusto, Workday, you can type those in one at a time, and we use AI to make recommendations of other companies that you might want to add. However, a lot of our users actually want to create their own lists. They want to do it either in a copy-paste format. They've got a long list of free text, and they say, just here's 20 companies, populate that, let's go. Or they want to upload an Excel spreadsheet. So we enable that creation right here as well. These are ways that you can streamline the research workflow with lists that have already been built or research that you may already have, rather than having to go through and recreate the research process every single time. You'll also see that we have AI running here that says, hey, great, let's find candidates who currently have the title CFO at companies like Rippling and others. So there's intelligence happening in the background. And as we do that, we're going to drop right into the candidate screen. So this is kind of our long list build section. We are showing you exactly who is being mapped and why these results are being returned the way that they are. Multiple customers that we've talked to have asked for the ability to create different personas. So this HR tech CFO is kind of like persona 1. Maybe we want to create a secondary profile. Maybe we want to find public company SVPs of finance that have gone through IPO or M&A. We want to create a different subset of candidate. That'll be represented here in this box. We have also cleaned up our nav bar, nice and easy to see and use. What I really like about this too is you can see that these candidates are a match, right? You're not getting the executive assistant to the CFO at Phenom or, kind of a derivative of that. Funny story, I was just doing some internet research earlier today, and I did a quick search on LinkedIn. I typed in Apple CEO, and there are 592 results for that. Google CEO, 937, and then Microsoft CEO has 1,000 results. That is a nightmare for recruiters. So here, what we're really focusing in on is precision search and precision insights. Before we jump much further, I will kind of say, this is kind of my favorite screen, because a lot of times what we want to do when we're kicking off a search is understand where the distribution of talent is. Because Findem is a global data set, we can show you this at a point of a click. And so this is dynamically updating too. So every time you introduce different criteria within our platform, this updates, and this can be used to help influence search strategy. Again, maybe whether you're selling the search or you're actually launching it, but you're going to know where the density of talent is anywhere in the world and how that evolves as your search strategy evolves. We also probably want to go in and verify, like we started with the company research list. So we want to make sure, like, did we get the right companies and what do we know about them? So here, these are all companies that we had mapped. And if you go in and you look at Workday, you can see we understand that they've exited. They're an IPO'd company. They're publicly traded. We see the subcategories they're in. They've got employee headcount, revenue numbers, competitor data, and you can see their growth over time. Because they're a public company, we've got financial information. We also see historical funding, and we see product information. So this eliminates a lot of the jumping back and forth from one app to another app to internet research and back to your people list. You can see who candidates are. You can see their org chart. You can see their ticker symbol. Infor is another good example. They have exited. They were a private organization, scaled to 17,000 people, but you can see there's a downturn now. So this could be a really interesting kind of nugget of information to say, maybe we should go off and try and call their CFO because they're not growing and they want to be part of a high growth organization again, right? Rippling, I won't spend too much time on all of these, but you can see that Rippling is absolutely crushing it. They're going through high growth. That might make their CFO harder to recruit. We'll look at Greenhouse. You know, you can see that growth has plateaued. And same thing with our friends over at Findem. Let's see if I can just click out here, sorry. Last one, and you can see again, growth is stalled out. So maybe that makes them a more attractive target or not. But anyway, you can see the context of what is happening within the company and how that might influence candidate readiness and who you're going to call.
Amazing.
So jumping back in, yeah. Sorry, did you want to say something, Francis?
I just wanted to like recap what we just saw. You know, we took a look at that candidate mapping, which is, you know, super fast. We're able to get a short list here, 237 matches. They're precise. They're not the executive assistant. And then we're able to kind of verify, right, all the companies that were in the list. So, you know, big shift really from like what kind of looks like a social media screen here, right, MJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think the UI is really clean and nice here. I think this has been really well done. It's very easy to understand who candidates are, where they've been, why do they match the search? And I think that's a really important concept is not only are we driving efficiency in this workflow, but we're trying to drive precision searching as well. So not only do we surface results, but we kind of explain to you why you're getting the results that you're getting. And you can understand how a candidate maps to the criteria that you've put in. We also show you that they are a match for our persona that's mapped. There are notes in there, and that we've got historical context on the candidate. So you don't have to go from LinkedIn to a different site back to your CRM to try to complete the picture. We already tell you these candidates are in your CRM. You already have a relationship with them. But if you need to expand that search, that capability is here with external candidates as well.
Amazing. So it's not pulling me, the CFO of my household here in LA, even though that's what I call myself here. So, you know, we've got amazing matches. All right. I think are we ready to shortlist these folks, or do they look amazing?
Yeah, I think we can. Maybe the quick step here is, and I'll keep it real brief, but not only are we showing, you know, again, the math of why candidates map the spec, and we provide AI candidate summaries on how they meet that. You can definitely see that very familiar social media presentation layer. But what I really like is you can actually see the executive's impact at the company and what happened at that company during their time there. And this is really hard to do with private company data. It's a lot easier with public company data. But right here, this gentleman, Devinder, you can see that he's at a company that you know, has gone through growth historically, but during his timeline, it actually plateaued. So that might tell you something about how you might want to approach that candidate and what actually transpired when they were there. That might shape your interview questions, certainly shapes the feedback that you might have to give to a client. You can see the rounds of funding. You can see where they've been. And then this is also going to connect to you know, the activities of a search, your CRM, other projects and resumes. I won't kind of spend too much time here just because I know we're limited on time. but being able to actually go in and say, I like these candidates, let's go ahead and let's add them to our pipeline. We'll see that the screen says, great, our 10 profiles have been added, and let's jump forward. Let's go into the pipeline. So here we are. This is the list of candidates that we think of as being hyper relevant. What I also really like here is there's a potential off limits concern for Celia. Maybe she's a former placement, maybe she's active on another search. In the search world, these are things that you are constantly trying to remember and keep track of. We resurface that within, again, that CRM to Findem connection.
Love that. Really makes recruiting more of a team. So say we love these candidates, we're ready to share them with Hari, our CEO. Do I need to go to my email to do that? What's the next step?
Yeah, great question. So you can actually do that within our platform. You would just simply, let's select our candidates. Let's go ahead and share them. We're going to go to Hari and say, Hari, we definitely need your feedback on this. Let us know what you think. So from here, the profiles have been shared. And, skipped ahead here. This is what it's going to look like when you're in your Gmail. So you're going to, we connect directly to your Gmail or your Outlook, and then you can send these candidates for review. And when we do, this is what Hari is going to see. He's going to get a very nice, very clean profile, and he's going to be able to say, this is a great fit, a good fit, or not a fit. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to get comments. So Hari works really fast, which I really appreciate because I'm a recruiter with limited time. And we've already got commentary back from Hari. So you can see that he thinks that this candidate is a great match. He's given us comments, and he's done that across all candidates so far in our shortlist. So from here, this is kind of telling me, let's go ahead and let's contact the relevant candidates. They have our 2 thumbs up or our thumbs up. Maybe we want to put them in a campaign, and maybe we want to start messaging them to kick off our market outreach. So as we do that, we would go ahead, we would add them to a campaign. And this is where we enable messaging within the platform. So I've gone ahead and I've created a series of email sequences. Here, this one is executive leadership outreach, 3 emails over 7 days. I'm really pushing, I got to get people in. So we're going to select that and we're going to add them to an automated campaign. Because we are connected to your email, we are going to know and monitor responses. Meaning you're not going to continue to send emails to a candidate that's already responded to you. They're going to be moved out of sequence, but we will continue with step 2 and step 3 in that email sequence. And you're going to see that that campaign is actually in progress. So we will then go back and be able to give you, market insights, who has replied, who is interested, what actions might be required, how many people have you shared, like all the kind of statistics that typically have to be built by hand. And verified or checked into multiple sources. This is all being presented in one single pane of glass.
Amazing. It's so great to see all the work being done here and kind of get a review of my pipeline all in one place. It's incredible. So we love the short list. It's great. Let's fast forward. And now, Hari works super fast. And he's already asking me like, do we have more candidates? What's the talent pool like? Are these the right ones? How do we show him that we're doing our homework?
Yeah, I want to show Hari that we've been really thorough in our market mapping and that we understand kind of the composition of talent, how we're going to drill in, and present him with data that's ultimately get him more comfortable to make a decision down the road. Right? We're going to do this through data and evidence. So we'll be able to share data around the talent pool composition. How many candidates are coming from the system that we have? How many are coming from the external market? What are the other key attributes that these candidates display? We probably want to find someone that's been through a successful exit. Maybe they want to have done an acquisition as well. So we report back on that. They clearly have to have a startup experience. They clearly are going to need to have fundraising. Kind of fascinating. Maybe we want that like founder mentality. So 16 candidates have founded a company in the past. We're also going to look at location data. We happen to be a distributed company, but maybe some companies have a different policy around where they work, the geographic radius that they need to recruit from. So you're going to see how that composition of talent is based, connected to the location that you're looking in or that you're constrained to. And then we're also going to provide a lot of different data, which we won't have time to get into today, but simple things like gender and ethnic composition. So if you're trying to make sure that your slates are diverse, we will populate that. We will enable that kind of quick line of sight so you can actually get to the candidates that you want to address fastest. And then we will also create some action items here where you can download these studies, you can download these talent pools. We've had customers populate these into their sales and BD deck so they can actually frame the search before they even win it and kick it off. So there's a lot of features and functionality baked in here. This is super powerful. This is one of my favorite parts of the product.
Amazing. So great to be able to show Harry, like, look, we're looking for that special unicorn, that person who's helped, raise that round, seen a company through a huge change, and we're mining the whole talent pool. So this is
Yeah.
awesome.
And if there's any changes, what does that impact have on the search itself, right? Like that's always a struggle, but when you make a change, how does that impact the workflow? This is all going to be backed up through data.
Amazing. All right, MJ. Well, is there anything else we should show on the screens, or should we close up and maybe jump to a few questions from the audience?
Yeah, let's close up. Let's jump to some questions.
Awesome. Okay, we got a few questions in the Q&A. There's one here about do you have to manually remove the people from the thumbs down, with the thumbs down from the email sequence, or how does that work?
Oh, in the email sequencing, no, you will select the candidates that you want. So it's not a mass mail. If you're getting feedback that these are not fits, yeah, you're going to remove them from your search and you will only email the candidates that make sense.
Awesome. And then when we do mapping, is it only pulling people in from companies listed out, in your map, or will it pull profiles from similar companies as well?
That is going to be a byproduct of how you set up the search. So if you are doing explicit searching for only specific companies, our research is going to be based off, or the results are going to be based off of that. There are ways in the nav pane that if you're actually doing broader searches with broader industry filters and maybe less targeting, then you're going to be given, more options to choose from.
All right, we've got a good question here. Where does all this data come from?
So our founders are repeat founders. They're data infrastructure, data engineering wizards. So we've compiled a very large talent data cloud. We have about 750 million profiles, over 30 million companies, but we're connecting information from over 100,000 different data sets. So the way that we think about that is there's access to public data that is available. We purchase data as well to enrich our understanding. So you're going to get information from a wide variety of sources. You're going to get professional social media. You're going to get financial information, right, from like SEC and Edgar. You're going to get patents and publications. You're going to get code repository information from GitHub and Kaggle and Stack Overflow. If you're in life science and research and you want to get like into ResearchGate, we connect that data. That is connected to location data. So not only are you searching for the United States or California, but you can get down to counties. You can look for continents. There's a lot of different ways that we enable aggregating data, consolidating data, and making that reportable so that it's really robust and it's captured over time. So it's not just, can you show me what's happened today, but can you go back in time and tell me who the executives were that went through this scenario that meets the criteria? That's kind of the magic behind what they've done.
We have one question here. Does Findem learn from the candidates that you chose and those you rejected? How does it learn?
We are not applying incremental learning today around candidate rejections. Learning happens from the input that we're doing around your attribute selection.
Gotcha. Question here, when you upload a company list, do you need to add LinkedIn links or website links, or can you just upload the names of companies?
You can just upload the name of the company. And we can show that as well if there's more interest. But this is like super cool feature. You can just take a list of 20, 50, 100 names, and we actually connect to the URL. We ensure that it is the correct company, and we flag any errors along the way. So if you misspell a company, we will actually show you, hey, you know what? This one doesn't link to a URL. You can go back in and you can fix it, but we do the heavy lifting for you.
Amazing. I love that. All right, we have 1 minute left. So unfortunately, we're If you have further questions, we'll have to take them offline. But we'd love to hear from you guys. Like, what do you think? We'd love to hear how this can help. And we'll be sending out a quick follow-up survey, so we hope that you can reply. And as we come to a close, just take a moment and tell us if you'd like to learn more. I know we ran out of time here, so if you want to hear more, just check that yes button, and we will follow up with you individually. But that's it for today. Thank you all for tuning in. Like I said, if you're interested in learning more, feel free to reach out to any of us on LinkedIn or through our website, and we will definitely have more to show you soon. So stay tuned. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.